Welcome to the Midlife Edit. This is a podcast for women who aren't broken, just becoming. For the ones who've spent years showing up, holding it together, and doing what was expected, and are now asking quieter, braver questions. This season is about turning the volume up on your voice, your health, your boundaries, your desires, and the life you actually want to live. No fixing, no pretending, just honest conversations about confidence, money, hormones, happiness, and coming back to yourself, with a little music along the way. I'm Jen, and this is the Midlife Edit. Hey friends, and welcome back to the Midlife Edit. All right, listen, I need to know if anyone else experiences this very specific adult woman phenomenon. Have you ever made plans when you were feeling confident, optimistic, productive, hydrated, emotionally regulated? And then the day of those plans shows up and suddenly you're like, wow, that was extremely bold of me. Because I am becoming increasingly convinced that there are multiple versions of myself living inside of me. And those personalities, they don't communicate well with each other. Because confident me is ambitious and she signs up for things and plans projects. Confident me thinks I will absolutely have the energy, motivation, clean hair, and emotional stability when the time comes. Confident me is thriving. Reality me, however, man, reality me is tired and she's overstimulated. And she forgot why she walked into the kitchen, which she does at least 5 times a day now. And honestly, sometimes I think I just walk in there for emotional support. And I swear, January is when confident me does her best work and reality me pays the bill. Because just like everybody else, December me is like, yay, new year, new routines, new habits. This is my year. And January me is like, shit. Well, it's dark at 4:30. My hormones are performing some kind of like experimental jazz concert, and I would like to cancel everything except maybe some silence with snacks. And I really think that this whole phenomenon hits especially hard in midlife because it's not just a seasonal slump. It's seasonal slump mixed with responsibilities, mixed with emotional labor, mixed with hormones deciding to freestyle your entire operating system. Like, my body used to send polite notifications, right? Hey, you're hungry. Hey, you're getting a little cranky. Not now. Now my body, it sends jump scares. 1 minute I'm fine, and the next minute I'm sweating while I'm sitting just still and probably crying at a commercial about a dog that just learned to use the stairs. And listen, nobody prepared us for the fact that midlife isn't just physical change, it's identity change. It's the moment where you look at your life and realize some of this was chosen by survival, and some of this was chosen by expectations, and some of this was chosen by younger, very optimistic versions of you. And none of that is wrong. But midlife is when you quietly start asking, do I still want to live like this? Because listen, I've been thinking about this. And I don't think this one only applies to dinner plans or social events or gym memberships we signed up for in a moment of emotional stability. I think a lot of us are still living we're we're still living out life commitments that a different version of us agreed to. Career paths, relationship dynamics, being the responsible one, being the caretaker, being the one who always says yes, being the one who holds everything together, being the one who texts back right away no matter what they're doing or answers that email as soon as it comes through, right? And here's the part that really hit me recently. Midlife isn't about blowing up your life, but it is about renegotiating that contract. And listen, if you've ever tried renegotiating anything in adulthood, you know how terrifying it can be. Like trying to return something without a receipt, or in my case, trying to return something at all. That's like one of the things that I hate doing the most. I know it's silly, but I just hate it. Or canceling plans after you already said yes and feeling that guilt of, oh, I've got to show up for this, but I don't want to, so I have to cancel. But what are they going to think of me when I cancel? Or telling someone, hey, listen, I know I've been emotionally available 24/7 for the last 18 or 20 years, but I'm thinking about reducing my hours. And this actually leads me into something I heard recently that it's been living rent free in my brain. I know that that term is one of those overused terms, but in this case, I really think that that's the right term here. So, but listen, one of my favorite podcasters said something along the lines of, and I can't quote her exactly, but she said, the self help industry doesn't always want to help you, it wants you to keep coming back. And at first, I was like, wow, that feels aggressive. But the more I thought about it, the more I realized there's some truth there. Not all self help. Believe me, not all self help. And I want to say that because there are incredible teachers and therapists and coaches and resources and tools that can genuinely help people. I 100% believe that. But especially with the uptick of social media and reels and TikToks and everything else, there's also part of this industry that quietly survives on convincing women they are a constant work in progress, that they are one more routine away from being fixed, one more program away from being confident, one more habit away from finally being enough. And here's what I've started to question. What if you're not unfinished? What if you're just evolving? Because I think a lot of midlife women are exhausted, and not from growth, but from feeling like they're never allowed to arrive. There's always another morning routine, another mindset shift, another productivity system, another diet, another way to optimize your personality. And at some point, you start feeling like a software update that never finishes installing. And honestly, I don't need another upgrade. I just need my current operating system to stop fucking buffering, right? And what I really want you to think about when I'm saying all of this is if you are like me, and a lot of people are, but some of you aren't, and we are different, but if you're like me and have always chased that quick thing, whether it was the quick fix or the how to get rich quick schemes or whatever it was, and it's just, you're always looking for the next best thing, start from the beginning. Start with what was working for you at first. And I think that a lot of the times we're just looking for quick, right? We're looking for quick and we just want it to be fixed, but it didn't become a problem quickly. So for it to not be a problem anymore, or for us to improve it, it's going to be a slow change. There's going to be a slow burn. You've got to have consistency, because if it were just that easy, everybody would be doing it, right? And I know you don't need to hear me preach about this, but I need to hear me preach about this, so you're along for the ride. Honestly, consistency on anything is going to help you. So maybe just try staying consistent. Anyway, I think midlife is where women start quietly deciding. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. You're deciding that I don't need to become a brand new person. I just need to edit the parts of my life that no longer fit. So maybe that's stop chasing these quick dopamine hits, right? We're not trying to fix, we're not erasing, we're editing, which feels very midlife edit if you ask me. So instead of setting big goals this year, or resolutions, or unrealistic personality overhauls, I want you to just to stop. Just stop, breathe, and I want to offer something way simpler and honestly way more fun. You don't have to do this. This isn't a quick thing. I'm just trying to give you some space to edit. And what I want you to do is I want you to build 3 lists. And listen, they're not productivity lists. They're not how to become a better human lists. We're going to talk about life enjoyment lists, because what is the fucking purpose of being here if we're not going to enjoy ourselves, right? So your first list is going to be your joy list. These are the things that make you feel energized, playful, or happy. And here's the rule: they're not allowed to be productive. You can't put organizing my closet, or finally answering emails, or learning how to meal prep efficiently, because, friends, that's not joy. That's adulthood. Yes, you may feel better once you do it, but you're doing it because that's life. Joy is what makes you lose track of time, or what makes you laugh, or What did you love before your life got heavy? What makes you feel like you again? List 2 is going to be your curiosity list. Things you want to try to explore or try without pressure to be good at them. And this is where confidence actually starts. Confidence rarely comes from mastery, it comes from curiosity. So if you've been dragging your feet on ordering, I don't know, that kit to start crocheting, or, I mean, you listen to my podcast and you're like, wow, I'd really like to do that. It doesn't have to be perfect to be done, friends. Start it, try it. And if you don't like it, try something else. List 3 is our courage list. The things that feel slightly scary but exciting. Maybe it's the conversation that you need to have, or that boundary you need to set, or that dream you've been quietly thinking about. Maybe it is starting a podcast. Maybe it's taking singing lessons because you've always wanted to sing. And just a quick side note on that. My friend Karen from the last episode that I had, she's a vocal coach, and she told me, believe it or not, anybody can sing. So that's been on my mind. Got me thinking maybe I can be Jem, right? Or the version of yourself you've been curious about becoming. So, maybe I'm I am big on like strong female leads in a movie. And whether it's a comedy movie or a rom-com or a serious movie, I just love strong female leads. And somebody that just knocks this out of the park every single time to me is Kate Hudson. And her recent new show on Netflix, and I'm sorry, I don't remember the name of it right at this second, but it's the basketball one, and how she was looked at as, oh, the party girl, and she was, it, her dad would just give her a job to keep her quiet or whatever, and she came and just turned herself around and became this freaking amazing CEO. It's things like that curiosity that I want you to tap into, that I want you to think about. Because sure, that may seem scary, but maybe she's in there. Because honestly, if I look at my own life, podcasting started as a curiosity. Therapy started as a curiosity. Building the Midlife Edit Co. started as a curiosity. None of those started with confidence. They did start with, well, what if I tried this? And listen, curiosity me, she's also dangerous. Curiosity me signs up for things too, but she at least signs up for things that make life interesting and not just busy. I signed up for and committed to doing this podcast every week, and I love it. Sometimes I get a little bit stressed out, thinking, oh, what should I talk about? Sometimes, most of the time, I have imposter syndrome. I'm like, who am I to talk about this stuff? But this stuff that I talk about is just experience from what I'm living in life. These conversations that I'm having with my guests are things that I would have looked for anyway. So why not have them, right? And I honestly think that there's this energy that midlife women are stepping into right now. And this is one of those positive things about social media, right? If you look at the TikToks and the Facebooks and Instagram and all of that stuff, you can see these strong women just emerging. They're finding their voice again. They are becoming increasingly more confident in what they want. And friends, that's not being a bitch. That's being true to yourself. And I am here for it. These people, they're not falling apart and they're not starting over. They're just choosing differently, choosing fun again and honesty again and choosing themselves again. And I don't know what we're going to call ourselves yet. I feel like us midlife women, we need a new nickname. I know that there's some out there and there are some really awesome creators out there that are doing the thing, but I think this should be something bold and funny and honestly just a little rebellious because we deserve it. I'm thinking like a modern Golden Girls situation because those bitches, they were savage and I love them. I haven't landed on it yet, but if you think of something, please send it to me. Let's rename ourselves. Well, listen, before we wrap up for today, I need to give you a little preview of next week's episode because I'm shifting gears slightly. I've talked a lot on this podcast about most things that come up in midlife, right? Whether it's hormones or career shifts or therapy or boundaries or all of the things, right? What haven't I talked about yet? Well, my good friends Salt and Peppa, they made a song about it. So next week, let's talk about sex. Honestly, I'm interviewing an author named Alana Auerbach about her book, The Sure Thing. And I'm just going to say it now. That episode is going to be spicy. Most likely not safe for work and definitely honest. So, these are one of those things where women have always been told to be quiet about or we're embarrassed to talk about. Because, men are allowed to have that quote unquote locker room talk. Don't even get me started. But women, when they start speaking up about sex or talking about intimacy or just themselves in general and craving things like that, we're looked at negatively. And we're not going to do that anymore. So we're going to put a positive spin on it. It's going to come out right after Valentine's Day. So if you didn't get lucky on Valentine's Day, the episode's going to be for you. And if Valentine's Day came and you did get lucky, honestly, it's still for you. Because we're going to talk about pleasure, connection, and rediscovering parts of yourself that a lot of women quietly lose somewhere between responsibility and routine. We're going to have fun again, ladies. Okay, so look out for that next week. But again, confident me may sign up for things, but current me, she gets to decide what stays. And future me, she deserves a life that she's excited to show up for. That's it. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. And I can't wait to see you on next week's episode. Until then, this is the Midlife Edit. Let's make it a damn good chapter. You've been listening to the Midlife Edit. If something in this episode stayed with you, I hope you sit with it, not rush past it. Because this season is about listening to yourself and to what's quietly asking for more. If you want to stay connected between episodes, you can join the Backstage Pass. That's where I share behind-the-scenes notes, playlists, and things that don't always make it onto the podcast. You'll find the link in the show notes. And if this episode resonated with you, it would mean so much if you'd subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's the easiest way to support the show and help more women find it. So until next time, turn the volume up, and let's make it a damn good chapter.